Hello and welcome to the 2017 4-H Career Explorations Orientation video. We're excited to have you listening to this video and getting yourself ready to come to Cornell this June. My name is Alexa Maley. I work with the State 4-H office and I'm helping to lead the coordination for planning for this year's event. I'm here with Chris and John, who are our chaperone advisors for the conference, and I just want to give them a chance to introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Chris Nestle. I'm a 4-H educator in Washington County.
And I'm John Bowe, and I'm a 4-H educator from Warren County.
So we're going to start out just by talking about the conference in general and what you can expect when you come to Cornell. This event has been planned by a great big team of people. I've had the pleasure of working with 26 different team leaders who are part of the planning process. Our team leaders at this event we call focus assistants. They also have county educators who are their advisors and chaperones. So Marika and Leland, who are part of the team, Chris and John, who are our chaperone advisors. And then we also have a couple of people who help organize the University U program in general that's part of this conference. So it's a large group of people who help make it happen. And we all hope to work in partnership with you to make this event a very successful experience for our youth. So we have young people and adults coming from all over New York State this year. About 480 or so people have signed up. Our registration has officially closed at this point. So if there are any changes or questions about who signed up for what, then you should contact us directly in the state office. And at the end of the presentation, I'll give you my email address to help work out those details. We can make changes the day of, but we try to avoid that as much as possible. So please do let us know when you can. Each county educator will get a list of people who've signed up from their county. So you can check in with your 4-H office too for any of those questions. So one thing we need to make sure we have for every group who comes to campus is to know who their lead educator is. So if you don't have a staff person who is coming for your county, who is that person going to be that's a point person during the event for the volunteers and youth for your county. So make sure you let me know who that lead educator is. And also as a reminder, if you haven't told us already, if you have groups that are sharing chaperones, then we try to put you together in the dorms too. So make sure we know that information. To try to help guide your experience, we give you a handbook. It's a fairly lengthy document, but it's got lots of really important information in it. So please do dive in and explore it. It includes the schedule for the conference, the overall schedule, which you've probably seen already, but also the more detailed schedule. So if you've signed up for a focus program, it'll tell you which activities are where and when in there. We've also will be creating a Google map to support those lists of locations. So if any of you guys like to find directions that way, you can find links to that. It will include packing reminders, and I cannot say enough, you will be walking for this conference. So please do bring comfortable shoes. And we also give you water bottles, so make sure that you bring those with you. And if there's something you need to help you carry stuff with you, like if it's helpful to have a bag or that kind of thing, bring that with you too. And the handbook also includes specific event policies. So please do make sure you read through that before you come to campus. Many of the things are very similar to other kinds of state 4-H events, like the code of conduct, which we're going to dive into in a minute. Some are very specific for staying in the dorms, living on campus for a few days, that kind of thing. So please do review those. So our code of conduct is our agreement for how we're all going to work together and learn together while we're on campus at Career Explorations. And it's the same one that we have for any of our state 4-H events. It's just a way for us to try to make sure everyone has the opportunity to feel safe, to be their full selves, and to learn and grow as much as possible. So we really do try to make this a welcoming space for people from a variety of backgrounds, because we will have people from all kinds of different experiences that are there on campus with us. So this is the highlights of our code of conduct: the welcoming environment, like I mentioned, suggestions about clothes to wear, following general policies and rules for campus beyond our 4-H rules, working together, really going all in and being a full participant, and being a positive role model for the other people that are there. And we do all of this so that we can create safe spaces for everyone who's there, for youth and adults. So all the staff and volunteers and youth are all held to these same standards. We do think about both physical and emotional safety when we're talking about creating these safe spaces. So, for example, in some of your focus programs, your program leaders might tell you specific things, or you might have to go to lab safety training or whatever to help you with that physical safety. And our code of conduct and your experience too can help you explore those different ways for you to meet new people, make positive connections with everybody around you, and help with that emotional safety piece. The dorms are set up so that they are co-ed, in that everybody stays in one of the two buildings, Court K. Bauer or Muse. Everybody will be assigned, all the youth will have a roommate of their own gender, and the adults all have singles. The bathrooms are not labeled in the dorms in any way, but there will be room assignments. So like all the girls will have one section in one bathroom. So you'll be sharing bathrooms in that way. If it's easier for your group to label the bathrooms, if that makes you feel more comfortable, you're welcome to do that too. If there are specific situations for your participants yourself that you need us in the state office to know about to make your experience the best possible, please let me know. For example, sometimes people have mobility challenges, and so we need to make arrangements for them to get around campus. Or sometimes there's particular food needs or those kinds of things. Hopefully you've already written on that registration form and let us know, but if there's anything you forgot or things that have changed between now and when you sent in your registration, please tell me about that. And this applies for both the youth and adult, for everyone from your county who's coming. We try to do all of this planning ahead of time so that we avoid issues or accidents as much as possible. But anytime you have a large group of people doing a whole bunch of different things, anything can happen. So we do have a plan for how we will handle different kinds of issues and incidents. Chaperones will be given a paper copy of this plan during chaperone orientation on Tuesday when you come to campus. So please be prepared to skim through it then. In general, the idea of taking care of medical emergencies first. We do have a nurse who will be working just for us for career explorations. So you can contact her directly. Take care of all that stuff first. And then also the really important point of communicating what happened and what response you took to everyone who needs to know. So to Chris and John as our chaperone advisors, to myself as the event lead, and we will pass it on and make sure that county educators know and everybody else like that knows what's happened. I will remind everybody that we are using different parts of Cornell, but Cornell is basically a public space. So please treat it as such. Be careful with your stuff. Don't leave things unattended anywhere. Go in groups to places. Youth should always be with a chaperone, that kind of thing. As part of our process at Career Explorations, we try to learn from you what kind of experience you had so that we can keep improving how we do what we do. And so we do this program evaluation in a lot of different ways. Our conference planning team helps us with it. They have their own evaluation that they do. We will ask you as a participant to fill out a survey to give us some feedback about your experience after the event. We give you some reflection questions that you can use in your small group with your county during your county meetings or later in the evening if that makes more sense for you, so that it can help complete that learning cycle for your group. And if there are things that you talk about that you think would be useful for us, we always love hearing about how those conversations go too. So you can pass those on to me. And another way that we collect stories about how the event is going is by using a hashtag. So if you are on social media and you can share posts publicly, I am always checking for this hashtag throughout the conference, and we share pictures that way and stories and that kind of thing. So if that's something you're interested and able to do, please do join in the conversation online. Just some quick logistics. Everyone will arrive on Tuesday between 10 a.m. In order to be done checking in by noon, because orientations start directly after that. So when you come in, there is a check-in registration station set up at Robert Purcell Community Center, which is on North Campus on the second floor. So it's the side of the building that's by Jessup Road. There's a little circle there. One adult will come into the building from your group and bring any paperwork that hasn't been already uploaded online. And then we guide you through the check-in process so that you can make sure all the people who you brought with you are in the programs as they need to be. You can get dorm tickets, dorm keys and meal tickets. You get your t-shirts and your water bottles. You check in with the nurse. So if anybody has medications, they can turn it into the nurse there. We make sure you have your parking passes, all of those things that you need to get settled in for the conference. We do ask that 4-H educators upload the permission slips and sign code of conducts into our 4-H online system before you come to campus. So in that case, you wouldn't need to bring paper in with you to the registration process. It streamlines that. But it is a good idea for all chaperones to have a copy of their permission slips on them for their youth, just in case. And then our orientations start at 12:30. Chris and John will lead an orientation that's specifically for adults in the auditorium that's right on that same second floor of Robert Purcell. And then our focus assistants lead an orientation for the youth participants right at their program signs in the green space in front of Court Dorm. So there will be people around to help direct you there if you need directions to find that space. Some of our programs do require a lab safety workshop because of the kinds of activities that they're doing and the locations that they're using. If your program needs to have that workshop, it's mentioned in the handbook. And so there will be a workshop for you in that same auditorium right after the chaperone orientation is done. So if it's a youth who needs to do that, your focus assistant will bring you up to the auditorium. If you're an adult participant, just stay in the auditorium. And then everybody will have that lab safety, and you'll leave from there to go to your program on Tuesday. If you don't have a lab safety workshop, then chaperones, you'll go from the auditorium to your program signs where your youth will already be waiting, and then you guys will head out to your programs. Have a very fun day. And then at the end of Tuesday afternoon, we have our opening assembly for everyone in Appel Fields. Their team building games are a big part of this activity. It is outside, weather permitting, so just keep that in mind as you prepare yourself for those activities. Everyone will be staying in dorms on Cornell's campus, so you get the real college experience. All the rooms have like bedding and everything like that. But if there are certain things you want to bring, like a fan, sometimes people like to do that. You're welcome to do that. The dorms we have are air conditioned though, so keep that in mind. All of the rooms also automatically lock. So please be careful that you always have your dorm key on you, just in case you get locked out of your room, that kind of thing. We want to try to avoid that. Each adult chaperone on your emergency tree that you get during orientation, there is a number for lockouts. So if accidents happen and you get locked out of your room, conference services will help you get back into your room. And something that's new this year, per our request from participants, we do read the evaluation forms. We are going to let youth into the dorms earlier at nighttime, starting at 9 o'clock, but you have to go in with your chaperone if youth are going to be doing that. Everyone needs to be in the dorms by 10 p.m. each night. And then on Thursday, at the end of the conference, checkout is right off in the morning. The one adult should do the checkout for your entire county. So, double check, make sure you have everything out of the rooms, there's no damage, any of those kinds of things, that you have all the keys for your rooms, and then you'll go back to Robert Purcell and check out with the conference services staff there. And there's more details about all of this stuff too in the handbook, if you want to check that out. Dining, we mostly eat in the dining halls that are in Robert Purcell up there on North Campus, but except for on Wednesday when we have lunch in the physical sciences atrium, which is more towards Central Campus. Dinner times are very busy times in Robert Purcell, and our group is too large for everyone to be there at one time. So we are split into 2 sessions. So you'll have dinner A or dinner B, and everyone will be able to tell which time you have dinner by looking in the handbook. There'll be a list of which county or group is at which time period, and your name tag will also tell you which dining period you have. So please do stick to those schedules. It's really important to streamline everything for us that way. Like I mentioned before, you will have a meal ticket that you need to get into the dining hall. So please do make sure you have that with you. Chaperones should definitely be with youth in the dining hall. It is a buffet style kind of thing. So please look around at everything, but just take the food that you are going to eat while you're there. And then Thursday, lunch is back at Robert Purcell, but lunchtime is after the closing ceremony. So this year, our closing ceremony is going to be in Statler Auditorium. So it's a slightly different location from the past years. So we'll have closing ceremony in Statler, and then everyone who wants to have lunch on Thursday comes back to Robert Purcell and has lunch there before you head out. Lunchtime ends very shortly after closing ceremony, so please do get back to Robert Purcell directly if you would like to have lunch after closing ceremony so that you have enough time to eat. And I mentioned before that we give you space to check in with your counties and have county meeting times. So these time periods are opposite your dinner period. So if you have first dinner, then you'll have a county meeting afterwards. If you have second dinner, then you'd have your county meeting and then dinner. And we'll provide each chaperone a list of reflection questions that they can use to guide discussion then. And then you'll also check in with your groups for sure at the end of the day when everybody's back in the dorms by 10 p.m. There are so many things that are going on during our jam-packed 3 days together. So we want to make sure that you also take time to take care of yourself and the people around you. So we provide you with a water bottle. Please make sure you keep that with you, keep it full, and keep yourself hydrated. We do try to provide curfews and lights out times to emphasize just how important it is to sleep during this conference. It's very exciting and very tempting to try to stay up and talk to people, but you have a much better experience if you do sleep. And then also that we're all polite and kind to each other throughout the conference. The evening times are for fun social activities, and there are a bunch of different ones that you can do: bowling or movies or pool or swimming or a quiet lounge. And then, so those are available both evenings. And then on Wednesday, when we have a longer social time, there's swimming, there's going to be a dance, and there will also be representatives from admissions, from human ecology and the ag school. So if anybody's interested in talking to Cornell admission staff, please do check that out. We will also be doing a closing slideshow, which is a story of all the pictures and activities that we've done over the 3 days together. So please do send your pictures to me if you'd like to have them considered to be included in that slideshow. You can send them through email, or like I said before, I do look at the hashtag for pictures as well. Okay, so that was a brief overview of the entire event, and now we want to dive deeper into your role as a chaperone.
All right, I'm John, and thank you for participating in this. This is your opportunity to find out what your responsibilities to your group are. Obviously, you are responsible for supervising the youth from your county, but in addition to that, we ask that all chaperones participate in helping us supervise all of our youth in a positive and respectful manner. The dorms, key and damage inventory. Make sure you hand out your keys, document that everybody has the keys, and you're going to be responsible for collecting those keys at the end of the event. You should also look at all the rooms just to make sure that there's no damage done to the rooms before the kids move in. And obviously to make sure that the kids didn't do any damage while they're there. It's a very rare occurrence, but occasionally you find something that isn't quite right. A door doesn't open or close right, or something like that. If there are any changes, maybe one of the youth is assigned incorrectly, make sure you note who that is, and then take that over to our PCC, get that changed with the state staff as well as with hotel services. County reflection meetings. So these meetings are essentially your opportunity to really talk to the kids about what did they do today? What did they learn? Who did they meet? Is it things that they're interested in? You're going to find some youth really get into the programs that they're at, and some youth maybe discover that the program that they thought they wanted a career in really isn't for them. So this is a great opportunity for them to discuss those things and for you to get feedback that can help you help them in the future, and for them to really think about and process what they saw that day.
So as John mentioned, this is Chris. As John mentioned, it's important that you as an adult chaperone do support the entire event. So delving into it more specifically, youth supervision needs to be done during all the event activities and during the focus and UU programs, as well as the evening activities. And when we talk about event activities, so it might be something you might see in the dining hall, and making sure that folks are comfortable. Maybe they're having difficulty deciding where they need to be and that kind of thing. So feel free to offer some guidance. You programs, you are a participant, but maybe more of an observer. Let that focus assistant take the lead. But if you feel they need a little guidance or support, please feel free to do so. And certainly, if there's more of an emergency, then you may find yourself taking more of the leadership role. And then with the evening activities, you will be assigned an evening activity, and we will have that available for you later this month. And we expect you to show up on time and to observe and be there as someone that somebody could go to if there's an issue, or for you to oversee the event and make sure that things are going smoothly, and just to be there to support that specific activity. It's not an opportunity for you to catch up on your emails, etc. Even though there might be some time where you could, check your phone if in case youth have texted you with an issue or question and that kind of thing.
So what support is there for for chaperones? Both Chris and I are chaperone advisors. You'll have our telephone numbers direct to our cellular phones. So if there's a question that arises that you need an answer to, if there's a situation that occurs and you need some assistance, please reach out and contact us. Certainly, I'm usually running one of the University U groups, so I might have my phone on silent. So if you don't get me, text us, all right? Make sure that you communicate with one of the two of us if you can. Pre-event emails. You're going to receive a series of emails throughout the next couple of weeks that will have details and important information that you want to have to exemplify and enhance your experience at CareerX. Go through those, look them over, share the important information that you need to with the youth. So what are some of the tips and common challenges? Obviously, drink water. Oftentimes it's very hot while we're there. There's a lot of walking. Every time you have an opportunity to have the kids fill up water, fill up, have them drink, and then drink yourself because you're just as important as they are. And in the overall success, you may be more important as a chaperone to the group. So make sure that everyone's drinking water, everyone is comfortable walking. If there are any youth or adults who cannot make that physical walk, make sure that you contact us or Alexa and make arrangements for transportation. Some of the other things that you might run into, minor cuts and scratches, you'll have a first aid kit in the package that you're given. As far as that goes, one of the things that you should also know is if there is an emergency, a medical emergency, obviously render first aid as best as you can. Call 911 if you need to, and then contact us. Make that the last priority, is contacting us. Take care of that situation first, then contact us. If you need help with that situation, certainly call and take advantage of the other adults in your group because usually there's more than one. Make sure that you're working together.
So we do have some changes this year, and we are glad and thrilled to know that we are having our FAs. We've had quite a few in recent years, so we're able to have them work with the University U groups, which is a good experience for them. Both the younger youth seeing a teen in a leadership role, we feel that's a very positive change. The other thing is that in terms of some locations, the Call Auditorium, which we is now going to be used for the University U opening, and then the other change is the Statler Auditorium is going to be for the closing ceremony. So that's a little further from North Campus. So that's why we feel it's important following the closing ceremony that you get back to North Campus to the dining hall, and because it's going to take you a little bit longer to get there. The other thing is that we have brought back the dance on Wednesday evening. We haven't had it for a couple of years, but there's been some requests, and as Alexa said, we like to listen and pay attention to the evaluations. And then the other thing is swimming is only Wednesday evening because of the opening ceremony Tuesday evening. It really limits the amount of time that we have for our special evening activities, and they felt that swimming would be best when we had the full evening available to these youth. And then the other new thing that we have this year is that youth may now enter the dorms at 9 p.m. if they need to or want to, as long as they are with their chaperone. So those that have dorm duty are not going to allow that youth up into the dorms unless they're accompanied with a chaperone, and it's after 9 p.m. Oh, and we will try to make sure that youth are aware of this as well.
So if you have any questions, we thank you very much for attending. The event coordinator is Alexa. Her email is here. If you have questions for either Chris or myself, our emails are there as well. Reach out. We'll be glad to try to answer your questions as best as we can. And we look forward to seeing you at CareerX.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.